Welcome, South Florida high school baseball fans. It's been a long time since we've seen you all out on the fields, but we have a big treat for you guys today. Let me just start off by introducing our co-hosts. We have Rick Duteau, right-hand man. You guys all know Rick. And we have Nicole Lesson, journalism major, and she served as a judge for our essay competition, which is why we're all here today.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
So we received almost 50 entries into this competition over the past couple months. Obviously, HSBN, we wanted to do something for the seniors that all lost half of their seasons and their proms and all the other stuff that they lost. So we started this essay competition, and we received almost 50 entries. And tonight, we have the people that generously contribute to the competition, some of the judges, we have some coaches, and of course we have the winning players that submitted these essays. And I guess, Rick, let me start with you because you've been with us here for 10 years. We've never really done anything, been through anything like this, but just give a real quick synopsis of what we saw in some of these essays.
I mean, the kids really spoke from the heart. It was, to me, the thing that was the most impressive was how good every single one of them was. You know, it's so easy to just use that as like a stock answer and say, oh, they were all so good. But they were all so good. Everybody spoke from the heart and really, you know, applied themselves to this. It was really difficult to look at one from another. They were all just so well done. I was really impressed by the kids.
Nikki, we've seen some amazing essays the past couple months. These seniors have been pouring out their hearts. But what we found is these players have handled this heartbreak with both composure and grace. Is that what you saw when you read the essays?
Exactly. It gave me an insight into what their mindset was. Because the first thing I thought is, what would I be doing now if I was a senior and I was a baseball player, et cetera. And it just gave such an insight to what they're going through, their mindset. And they were inspirational. They, they talked from the heart, like Rick said, and uplifting. And they were giving thanks to their families and to their coaches and their teammates. And they were really positive for their future. So, which was, you know, I mean, wasn't a woe's me. I mean, they're upset about their season, but they're looking for a bright future. So that was really, I love that. And again, all of them were so wonderful. And they really spent time on it. I could tell, you know, so.
Absolutely. And for all you guys out there, we're going to be in and out. We have a bunch of special guests in our waiting room today. So just bear with us. This is only our second or third of these Zoom shows, if you'll call them. So we're going to get down to business here. Tonight, we're basically awarding two $1,000 scholarships to the two winners of the essay competition, and then as well as 4 senior dinners. So a couple of the local restaurants have donated senior dinners for the entire senior class of the team of the player that won. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to thank some of the people responsible for these scholarships. Dr. Gary Bofshever from Bofshever Chiropractic in Parkland, Bobby Stallone, owner of Stallone's Italian Kitchen in Boca, Bridget DeVita, managing partner at Wings Plus in Coral Springs, and Vivian Lisabeth, president of Cloverleaf Insurance Brokers in Miami. What we're going to do is we're going to bring, I think we have Vivian with us, so give us a couple seconds and we'll bring in Vivian and we'll talk to her.
The
Hi, Vivian. How you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
We're doing great. We're doing great. So we just gave a little intro into this senior essay competition, and we wanted to bring in one of the people responsible for us being able to operate it. Obviously, for all of you that don't know, Vivian is the president of Cloverleaf Insurance Brokers in Miami. Vivian, tell us a little bit about why you got involved with this project and throwing some of your guys' support behind it.
Well, when I was initially introduced to this, I recognized the great opportunity for a student that to go to college. I was honored that I was asked. It's been difficult for the seniors today. As a matter of fact, I was watching the online graduations. You know, it's not the same as a physical graduation. And this gives the opportunity. You never know. Maybe the students' parents are, you know, financially in a bind at this moment due to the epidemic. So, and academics is so important for future of a young person, for them to be able to navigate in this world. So I was just so inspired that someone was doing this. So how could I not participate?
So obviously you have a personal connection to the baseball community, obviously. So how much of it was him, you know, kind of twisting your arm, and how much of it was just the give back aspect? Because obviously with these kids, everything's been taken away from them, like you said. So it's just nice from an HSBN standpoint. It's really nice to be able to do something for them, which doesn't even seem anywhere near what they should be getting, but at least it's something.
Well, you know, everyone in my family is an educator, so recognizing the importance of a college degree, you know, everybody in my family has one, you know, it's a must. So providing that opportunity to a student who their season may have not even happened, their senior season, or it's cut short. You know, they didn't have an opportunity to be able for the scouts to come and see them, or for them to go to the schools and apply. So nobody twisted my arm. It was presented and I was super stoked about it.
All right, and Rick, I mean, let's bring you in for a second. Obviously, people like Vivian and Cloverleaf and all these people that stepped up here are just huge. You've been with us from the beginning, and the community aspect of HSBN is just such a big part of what we do. So, you know, Vivian, I want to thank you, but Rick, if you got a couple words also, that'd be awesome.
Well, I mean, every time that somebody steps up and does this, it connects everyone, and that's been, you know, one of the staples of HSBN is that we, you know, connected so many coaches, players, programs, and just every time that you see someone like you do that, you're connecting players, you're connecting, you know, families, teams. That's what HSBN does, and you're just a part of that now.
Well, Vivian, I want to thank you. I want to thank Cloverleaf. Obviously, tonight couldn't happen. Never mind the scholarships, but here we are. When we started this, we were just trying to get some essays submitted, and here we are having a full-blown show revealing the winners. So thank you again for all your support, and we look forward to working with you in the future.
Definitely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Vivian.
I'll figure out how to get you out of here somehow.
I can leave.
I got to know how to do this. I got it.
Got
Bye, Vivian.
All right, guys, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to bring in some of the judges. Obviously, you guys are both judges. I think we have another one in the waiting room. Let me see. Yep. So we're going to bring Adina in, and then we're going to have a little discussion about, you know, what it is that we judge these essays on. So let me bring Adina in. Hi, Adina.
Hey.
Hi, Dina.
So we're just getting ready. I'm just bringing you in. For everybody that doesn't know, you guys have already met Nicole and you've met Rick. This is Adina Mujica. She's a senior over, she was a senior over at South Broward. She's the president of the Broward Honor Society, and she's number 9 in her class over at South Broward. So we felt it was important at HSBN to have some, what happened here? We felt it was important at HSBN to have a peer judging person also, not just us looking from the outside. So Adina, I guess the first question would be, you're on the inside looking out of all this. You're a senior that lost your prom and lost your grad night and everything else. So talk a little bit about, before we talk about the players, what you've been going through.
I would say academically, I've been pretty fine. I've taken online classes before. That wasn't really an issue for me personally. But I think something that all the seniors have in common is that none of us really got proper closure. I didn't even know when my last day of school was. I technically have 3 different days of graduation, and they go until late June. So being a senior feels like it both never ended and ended abruptly, which has been really confusing and led to a lot of different conversations and emotions. Another struggle from that has just been everybody asking, how are you? How has this been in one-on-one? Which has been very strange. But overall, I feel pretty fortunate for the situation. Like, there are definitely people going through worse.
Sure. So each of us, we're talking, and we're going to each talk a little bit about our own perspective on this. But each of us graded these coming from a personal standpoint. So when I look at them, I was looking for how positive was the player, what was his message that he was trying to get across, and that was my standpoint. So when you look at it from being a peer of these players, what were the criteria that you were looking for when you were judging these essays?
Something beyond what I was feeling. I mean, I could relate to each person that I read through. We're all graduating class. We all have that in common. But the students who were able to turn this adversity into a time where they could grow as people, educate themselves, find a new skill, something like that. That's something that I tried to do, but succeeded and failed in different areas. So seeing how other people took that on was an important part of this judging process. I would say something else that really stood out to me with the people that we judged. I got new insight on baseball. Usually I get it from an adult's perspective who's enjoying the game, or from a coach, a scout, or some of you. Hearing it from more students, especially from seniors who it's been a part of their life, I got better insight into that passion. So the students that really made me understand the passion that they've had for it for so many years, that stood out to me, and that was something I took note of.
Awesome. And you made an excellent point, because when I was reading through them, you know, a lot of them had the same message. So it was real interesting to kind of poke through it and try to see where one person stood out from the other. You know, some of them were handling their day-to-day stuff differently. Some of them were going about their baseball or their studies differently. So it was real interesting to kind of see how each one was personally navigating the situation. Rick, I mean, you come from a completely different point of view of how you were judging. So why don't you say a little bit about where you were at in the judging process?
I just kept trying to find one that didn't make me cry when I read it, and I didn't manage that. I think I cried at every single article. So I don't know. I just applied the ones that I felt best represented HSBN and what HSBN stands for.
And Nikki, you come from a journalism background, so did that play heavily into what you were doing when you were judging, or is there what were the factors involved when you were judging these essays?
Well, first I wanted, I guess, a balanced essay. I wanted to see what they were feeling both on the home side with their family life as well as with baseball, to get an insight into that. And I was looking, you know, from the beginning to the end to see if they came out with any creative ways of putting together their essay, how much time they took, if they just threw the sentences together, or if they really took time to explain how they were feeling. And, you know, you could tell, and a lot of them did, and it was wonderful. And I enjoyed it. I mean, again, giving an insight, because I think about what I would be going through if I was and I wasn't a student athlete, but that gave me great insight to that. But I was just so inspired by their words, and I just, you know, it sounds kind of corny, but I am very, you know, the future is bright with some of these, you know, these student athletes. I mean, it was really inspiring, and I hope, you know, we can share these with other you know, players and other students, because I think they were great. Awesome.
Well, thank you guys all for being judges. Obviously, doing it myself, I know it took a lot of time to get through 30, 40 essays. So Adina, we're going to let you go now, but we wish you all kinds of luck, you and your peers, as you move forward and try to navigate out of this crappy situation. So good luck to you in your future.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Adina.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so now what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to get down to the actual award winners, and we're going to pull the winners of the dinners in right now. So the players that are coming in now have won dinners for their teams, their senior teammates. And if you give me a second, we're just going to pull them out of the waiting room, and then we'll go from there. Hey, guys, y'all in here? Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let me do some introductions to the people that are watching. First person we have here is from Northeast. Number 2 on the baseball field, Logan Rose. Logan, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, man, awesome. We have from Flanagan, number 6, Nick Esposito. How's it going, Nick?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great. American Heritage, we got 2 guys. We got number 11, Nelson Berkwich, and number 5, Jacob Lajewski. Guys, what's going on?
How you doing?
Awesome, awesome. We also have coaches from Northeast. We have Coach Goulier, we have Coach Figueroa from Flanagan, and Coach Mazza from American Heritage. Coaches, welcome.
How you doing?
How's it going there?
Good. So obviously, first off, I want to say all of you players did a tremendous job with these essays. I mean, I have Nikki and Rick here, and we had about 5 or 6 judges judging these essays, and it was real hard narrowing it down. So what we got down to, we're giving out for you guys, everybody that's here right now has won a team dinner for you and your senior teammates. You guys in Palm Beach, it's going to be at Stallone's Italian Kitchen. So obviously they've been generous enough to donate a dinner to you guys. You guys will go in there and as a team, and you'll be able to have a senior dinner. Nick, I know you guys have 6 seniors, so you guys are in the same boat in Boca. It's going to be at Wings Plus up in Coral Springs. They'll be doing a dinner for you and all your teammates. And then Logan also, same thing, Wings Plus. I know there's only 2 of you guys, Logan, so, but I just want to congratulate all you guys. The essays, very heartfelt, very well written. And then obviously, Jacob, you and Nelson got 14 teammates, so that's going to be a pretty big bill over there for you guys at Stallone's. But let me start with Logan. You guys only have 2 seniors, but it's still a class. It's basically you and one other player that you're going to remember 20 years from now. So talk a little bit about the class you did in your essay that you guys were just starting to peak, and there's only 2 of you guys. So how you been the past couple months, and how do you go about navigating from here?
Well, I mean, our team was mainly a lot of juniors. That's what it was based of. So me and the other senior, it was kind of like we were just there alone, at the top. So it was a little weird for that. And then, with all this stuff that happened. But, I've stayed in touch with him recently, and we still go out and do all of our stuff. We still practice all the time. We go up to the parks, different parks all around, and we hit, and we're both going to college. We can't ask for anything more than that. So we're just going to keep on grinding like we've been doing and hope the future is bright for us.
And you mentioned in your essay that your dad's a firefighter. He's been going to work every day. So talk a little bit about the emotions of having to deal with that through all this.
Well, I mean, it's always been something, that's, it's a little nerve-wracking, gotten used to it by now. My whole life he's been a fireman, but, not just in this, but also when hurricanes hit and all that, it's hard. It's difficult knowing because, it's just me and my mom at our home. And, he has to go off, and he's the guy that people have to call. He has to, knowing that people can get him sick, and then we won't be able to see him. You know, every time he leaves may be the last time we get to see him. So it's definitely something that's, I mean, when you think about it, it's a little hard to deal with, but, you know, I mean, it's just what he does. You know, he wouldn't want it any other way. That's always how he's been. It's how he raised me to be. And, you know, it would be hard for him not to know that he wasn't giving his all out there to save others, you know.
Well, you did a great job with your essay. Mike, obviously, you coach Logan, so talk a little bit about how proud you are of what he produced here with this essay.
To be honest with you, as soon as I read that you were putting out an essay, I knew he'd hit it out of the ballpark because he's probably one of the most smartest kids I've ever known. And so I didn't doubt that he'd write a perfect essay. I had full confidence in him.
And Nick, let's move on to you. You talked a little bit about letting go of the game in your essay. So talk about those emotions. Obviously, that's something that we all dread, you know, at the end of our high school careers or our baseball careers. So talk a little bit about how you were feeling about that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting my last game, well, what is now my last game of baseball being in the middle of March. I thought that it would be, at the very least, districts and hopefully a state final. That's what everyone would wish for, but I won't be playing, at least at the moment, in college. So March 13th was the last time that I play at least organized. I could always go up and play club sports. I could walk on, who knows. But going into that game, I kind of had somewhat of an idea that it may be the last time that I did step on the Flanagan field. And I kind of played knowing that, at least in the back of my mind, I remember coming out off of the field after my last out, and I let out a big yell and ran into the dugout. And of course, right after that, I was kind of a little upset. But over time, especially since I've spent a lot of time inside, it allowed me to reflect, and I'm satisfied with it. I'm satisfied with what I was able to do, not only this year, but over my 4 years at Flanagan, and just help out whoever I'm able to help out with. And even though I'm not moving forward as a player, I know baseball's what I've learned and what I still have to learn from the game won't go anywhere. It's always going to be a part of my life, whether that is on the field or off the field. So I'm thankful for that.
And Coach Fig, you're sitting there listening to one of your players talk about this. I mean, that's got to just tug at you. What are your feelings that, you know, through this and obviously listening to how well Nick is expressing himself right here?
Yeah, Nick is a classic young man. He's one of a few guys that you always want on your team day in and day out. He's a classic example of a leader. He a student, first of all, because he's going to Florida. He's got a 5.2 or whatever, maybe a little higher than that. I might be short shooting him a little bit, but and a 1560 on the SAT. He's a classic example of a well-rounded young man, and we were so happy to have him for 4 years. You know, he was there, and he taught the younger guys how to do it right. He's the classic example of a leader.
And pivoting over to you guys, Nelson and Jacob, you guys are in a little bit of different situation. I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about the baseball end of things here, because you guys fell just short in 2019, and then, you know, this was kind of a redemption year for you guys. You guys were undefeated. You guys were clearly, in my mind, the best team in South Florida from what I saw, and most likely one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the state. So, Nelson, I'm going to let you go first, and then Jacob, you could take it right after him. But tell me a little bit about, I mean, that's a void that you're going to have to be dealing with the rest of your life, not knowing what could have happened in this magical season. So talk about that.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely tough to just like, when you think about what could have, should have happened, and it was like we still had that empty page that we wanted to fill up, and it was kind of tough to circle my head around that for the first couple weeks. And that was kind of what I dealt with at first. It was just like I was going to miss like me and some of the other players were playing for 4 or 5 years together, and it was like, it's over now, and it's like we didn't think it was going to happen that fast. So that was a little bit tough to accept at first, and it was like what you were saying. It was like, we had so much expectations for ourselves and from others, and we were so excited how far we were going to go, and then it kind of just ended. So it was definitely surprising. It was like a sense of shock for a little bit, because you're like, how is this happening? Like, nobody ever envisioned this.
And Jacob, can you add to that?
Yeah, it was a shock, like you said. But like, even though the season ended early, we did have all the expectations on us. We had the rankings and all that stuff, and we had a undefeated season, and we ended the game winning last game of the season. So it's like an accomplishment for us still, and it still feels good ending the season that way.
And coach, you coached both of these guys. So I mean, I'll tell you the truth. Going through these essays, it was like we couldn't pick one over the other on your team. It was like they were mirroring the same statements, but both, putting it so eloquently. So talk a little bit about the two guys, obviously writing these essays, and then what you're dealing with it as a coach in the same situation as them.
Well, Nelson told me his was going to be special, so I knew that one was coming, and I knew, Jacob was going. He told me he was writing one, and I knew that one would be good. So I got, they're both unbelievable young men, and for them to put their words on paper is special. It was tough. It is tough, but our message to the boys in a meeting we had was, listen, fellas, you got to move on. You all got something to look forward to. You're all going to play college baseball. So don't look in the past, look in the future.
Awesome. Well, guys, I want to congratulate all of you. All of these essays were tremendous, and it was hard doing the judging, and you all deserve it. You all deserve everything you get from here on moving forward. I've talked to you guys all individually out on the field, and you're all great young men. So from HSBN, just good luck in your future, and I look forward to following all your college careers or where you go from here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Guys, I
Thank you.
appreciate the chance to say goodbye again. This is the last time I got to see most of you.
You said we were going to talk at States, Rick.
Exactly. We
I'll
will
see you guys later.
Enjoy your dinners. You deserve it. And much more. Yeah.
Boy, this is more difficult than I thought. All right. Coach, have a good one. All right, guys. So let's, before we move on to the $2,000 winners, let's just kind of wrap up these. Let's wrap up where we go from here. All those guys. I mean, you could see from the coaches when they spoke, and you can see that they're very well educated. They're grounded. They have a direction in life. Nikki, I'll let you go first on this one. Talk a little bit about what you just heard.
Just very well-spoken young men. I mean, and very, again, a lot of gratitude and thanks to their coaches and their seasons, even though they were cut short, and the overall for the 4 years. I think they're not focusing on what happened, but they focused on the memories that they did capture on the field and as well as in school. And they're looking for the future from now, and I just think that's great. I mean, because they could wallow in their sorrow, and they're not doing that. And I think the dinner's a really great way for them to get together with their team, with their senior teammates one more time and get some more memories. So it was great.
Rick, what's the feeling you get from that?
I mean, listening to all four of those guys talk, there was just a lot of maturity, a lot of leadership, and those are high qualities to have at that age. So it's, I commend them. They definitely seem to get perspective, despite everything that's been going on in the world around them.
All right, HSBN fans, this is the moment you've been waiting for. We're going to bring in the $2,000 scholarship winners. So give me a couple seconds. Let me get these guys in here, and we will close this show out. What's going on, guys?
How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, Ryan? How you doing, Shalom?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, good, good. So, so welcome to the show, guys. We're good. You guys are the last segment, and I guess we saved the best for last here. First off, I want to congratulate you guys. You guys both wrote tremendously moving essays. They were well written. They were from the heart. They really spoke to where you guys were coming from. And I know you guys probably had some of the toughest jobs of anybody writing them because, I mean, Shalom, yours was the first one out of the gate. And then, Ryan, yours wasn't too far behind that. So you guys both submitted them very early in the process and then had to sit back and watch. But I do want to congratulate you guys. You guys both are the two winners. So you each are getting $1,000 scholarship from HSBN and from all of our partners. So congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, guys.
Huge honor.
Shalom, let me start with you, man, because you were the first entry into the competition. So you had to sit and watch over 2 months, essay after essay, come in, knowing that yours was the first one in. So what was that process like to be sitting there and watching one after the other come in after yours came in?
Well, so I got a call the day the essay competition was launched. Coach Paul told me, there's an essay competition, write it. I think it was like about 2.5 hours later I submitted it. And then I knew I wrote a good essay, so I wasn't that worried. And honestly, I just wanted to express my feelings. I didn't really care about the prize that much.
Sure. And for the viewers at home, I guess I didn't really do formal introductions here, but this is Shalom Marcus from Dr. Crop and Ryan Yellen from Park Vista. And there are 2 scholarship winners. Ryan, let's move over to you. Yours was probably the most unique essay considering, you know, how your season ended basically in a concussion. So it was hard to keep the emotion out of judging your essay because everybody pulls for the guy that loses their season to a concussion. So, but beyond the emotion of that, it was well written. You know, the vocabulary used in it was tremendous. So, you know, it wasn't because of the concussion, but just take us through a little bit about that last game that you had and those feelings, something you're going to have to remember the rest of your life.
Yeah, so we all knew going into that game, like something could happen. And that at bat, I was the second hitter of the inning. So the leadoff man got on. We were down 1-0. So I was fully prepared to get him over to second, you know, put him in scoring position. So 1-1 count. I had the hit and run sign on. I just see the ball coming at my head. You know, I've been hitting the head before, but once I was knocked to the ground, I didn't feel so good. And, you know, I stood up and my legs were kind of shaking, and which has never happened to me before. I was feeling kind of like drowsy. And Coach Greenstein came over and he said, yeah, you're out of the game. And I was like, no way, Coach. Like, this is too big of a game. And he said, no, you're done. So, you know, I walked back to the bench and I was like, that could have been it. And I just kind of sat in the dugout the rest of the game with a bag of ice on my head, trying to get the lump down. And, you know, I just supported the team the best I could.
Shalom, you talked a little bit about not really having to worry about some of the financial stuff through all this, but I'm wondering, is there, since you were the first one that wrote the essay and where we're at now at the beginning of June, has there been any changes in feeling from when you wrote the essay to now? Are you feeling differently now that you've got a little bit more of a grasp on the whole situation than when you wrote the essay?
Honestly, not really. My family is fortunate enough that they can provide for me. My father recently started going back to work, so we're still in a good place. And I honestly still feel that there's people out there definitely struggling. So, you know, they need our help, they need our prayers, and we gotta be a community.
And Ryan, what was your reason for submitting the essay when you saw the competition? Because a lot of some of them wrote it because the coaches said, "Oh, you have to write an essay," or all different reasons why. What was your theory behind why you wanted to write the essay?
You know, finally having a platform to express my thoughts about what was going on during this tough time, you know, and it just like fell right into my lap kind of. I mean, baseball is like obviously my sport, and just, you know, the current situation, I needed to get something out for people to understand what I was feeling.
So this last question, before I bring Coach in to wrap this up, or actually, Paul, let me bring you in now. Talk a little bit about Shalom. Obviously, you've had him, you coach him, so why don't you talk a little bit about him?
Well, tell you what, Shalom has been with me, you know, the 4 years that I've been at Crop as a ninth grader. It's only happened twice in my career when I've had, usually have a kid that's very talented, maybe might struggle with school, might have difficulty dealing with his teammates. Shalom's a whole package. I mean, I've only had one other one. It was a kid named Chris Craig, which is still part of my life. But, you know, I saw Shalom from a skinny ninth grader turn out and work his butt off, getting stronger, getting fitter, you know, ended up with a 4.4 GPA at school, 24 SAT. He's a whole package. But he understands. And we, as coaches, always mention that this game can easily be taken from you at any time. Well, it took the coronavirus to end our season. I mean, shoot, he had 3 complete games. We had played 9. He was off to tremendous season. But I tell you what, great kid, and every coach wishes that he had 20 Shalom Marcuses on his team. Always been a supporter of me. He's always been respectful. But that comes with his upbringing, his family with Norman and Miriam. So, yeah, you know what? Congratulations to both of you guys. And
Thank
congratulations, Shalom.
Thank
I
you.
remember having this when I knew that this was available. And I didn't push Shalom. I said, look, this is an opportunity. Said, okay, we hung up. 2.5 hours later, he sent it to me. And I said, okay, well, guess what? That doesn't happen because I have 2 other seniors that I told the same thing to, and they didn't submit it. So, you know, Shalom's future is bright, both with education and what he's going to do. He's going to go play for, hey, Rick.
You just noticed that Rick's in the room. He's been here the whole time.
Yeah, he's up north somewhere, but it's good to see him, brother. But
Yeah, he's up north somewhere, right above you.
he's going to play for Beezer.
Great to see you, Coach.
He's going to go and play for Ben Beezer up in Fort Myers. So,
Oh,
you know,
great.
I trust Ben, and that's one of the things I told him. You know, if Ben is giving me the opportunity, that's one coach I know and one coach I trust. And you know, besides this, Anthony, I know there's been difficult as well for all of us without baseball, but what you guys keep doing, trying to keep us baseball in front of us, I appreciate it. That's why, you know, you and I sometimes battle when you do, but anything that you want to do, if I think is worthy of it, I will do it. And this was a real great program that you put together. And congratulations. The athlete is Ryan from Parkview.
Yes, Park Vista. Yes.
Vista. Congratulations to him as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, you didn't have to go. You went into an extended DL, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I'm going to wrap this up, guys, with one question for the players. Now that it's over, you guys are both $1,000 richer. So what do you do with the scholarship money? Shalom, you go first.
It's going towards college. Gotta pay for expenses. It's not cheap.
A lot of pizzas.
And Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, the same. You know, it's going towards my college fund. You know, soon to be college student, any amount of money goes a long way.
All right, guys. Well, congratulations again. You guys both tremendous representations of your schools and your programs, and your entire programs and family should be proud of you. I'll be in touch in the next week or two, and we'll get everything worked out with the scholarship. But again, congratulations to both of you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yay.
All right, guys.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Excellent job.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Oh,
Good night,
I'll
guys.
talk to you. Have a good one.
Talk.
See you, Ant.
All right.
Bye, Coach.
See you, Rick.
All right, guys. So I guess it's up to us to pretty much wrap this up. I mean, six tremendous ball players. I'm completely okay with the decisions we made after, we have a lot of discussions about the decisions and back and forth about who's who. But, when you talk to these players straight up, like you just see that, these guys were very worthy of being competition winners here.
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, just like we talked about too, I mean, in that regard, in that light, all of the people who submitted one deserve that recognition, because this is not something that was like mandatory, participation. They all volunteered, they expressed from their heart and shared something, exposed, out to the free world, and they all should be recognized for doing that.
Nikki, I'll give you the last word here. I mean, everything that you saw tonight and that you read, just kind of wrap it up for us.
Well, again, all these student athletes, wise beyond their years. I hope writing it was a little therapeutic for them. And I think it's something in their own history and their experience through life that they'll keep forever. And it's great that we gave them to do that. And I just hope the sky's the limit for all these guys. They're a great bunch of players, student athletes. So I was proud to be part of this process, and I think HSBN did a wonderful thing to offer it to these seniors this year. It's such a tough year.
All right, guys. Well, thanks to both of you for being on tonight, to working through this show with us. Hopefully I'll see you, Rick. Hopefully I'll see you sometime soon if we ever get baseball back. Nikki, I mean, you live around the corner from me, so hopefully I'll see you sometime soon. But thank you guys both, and to you at home, thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed the SA Award Show. Have a good night.
Congrats to all.